massive impact on the results that you get. So for instance, you're going for a workout, you don't feel like it. Is there a quick way that you can get yourself into a state, the same state that when the last time you was really up for a workout? So you end up having an amazing workout again, even though when you first thought about working out, you thought, oh, I miss it today, don't want to do it. Is there things that you can do that can take you into that state and help you get the results that you want? So it can make the results happen exactly how you want them to happen. Virginie, Karen, how are you? Hope you're both well. So remember the last time you was on holiday, you're sitting in the sun and you're soaking up the sun, and maybe there's a tiny cool breeze. It's just a perfect temperature. You can hear the ocean. You can hear a foreign language being spoken around you. Maybe you can feel the sand on your feet, and you go into that kind of not awake but not asleep state. You know what I'm talking about, right? Or, you know, maybe you're in England, you're sitting in your garden or in the park and it's just warm, and you go into that kind of not awake but not asleep state. Now that is the state I'm talking about. Here's where I'm coming from on this. If you can get yourself into that state, and you can, because if you've just run that through in your mind and thought, yeah, I know that state, you can get there, right? You just can't do it consciously yet, but with a bit of practice you can. So if you can get yourself in that state, then you can utilize that, leverage it, because that's where you actually absorb more information. I'll tell you what I mean. So I'm reading something at the moment about speeding up the ability to read faster, so speed reading, and some fascinating things. So one of the most fascinating thing I've seen so far is sub-vocalization. So when you read, the average person reads about 250 to 300 words a minute, and that's usually the speed at which they talk. Maybe I speak a bit quicker on here because you only watch these videos because they make you feel a certain way. Any video, not just this one, any video, it's either going to entertain you and make you feel a certain way, as comedy or as sad or as whatever, or it's going to educate you. And then that's going to give you an insight, a shortcut to another feeling that you want. You want to get a hack or a shortcut to how to get a 6-pack or an 8-pack or really trim the fat off your belly. You want a shortcut to that, and that makes you feel a certain way. So it's all about feelings. So if you can get this feeling of a certain state that you're in when you're sunbathing, when you're reading, and the sub-vocalization is you speak at the speed at which you read at the speed at which you talk, because you pronounce each word to yourself. So you're saying, I went down the road and I saw, and the brain doesn't like that speed. It gets a bit bored. It wants to drift. So if you're driving slow, you're like, I'm getting bored. If you're driving 100 miles an hour, you're like, whoa, I can't fix on anything else. I'm really concentrating. So the brain likes to move at that speed. So here's the tip, with the speed reading that I picked up. It was like, count when you read and go across the line. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And it's weird when you try it, you're thinking, I'm counting, and all I'm hearing is 1, 2, 3, but I'm actually seeing the words. And with a bit of practice, I think you have to go slow to begin. Well, I do anyway, slowish, but faster than my normal reading speed. And then with practice, like anything, you'll get better. So anyway, point being, you get into a state in that way, and you can actually speed up the amount you read, the amount you're able to recall, because you're not consciously trying to program it. You know, what's his name? Malcolm Gladwell talks about 10,000 hours, and repetition of that. And most experts and geniuses around that have spent many, many hours crafting and practicing their skill, playing the guitar, playing the piano. Musicians are a good example of that. And they can do it, you know, subconsciously and have a conversation while they're playing the piano or playing a guitar or their instrument. So they're in a state. They actually just, they can drop into that state, and it's beautiful for them, and then they can do other things. So is there a way that you could, one, notice the state that you was in, the perfect state you was in when you, let's say you had a workout and you was in an amazing state, you was up for it, you had an amazing workout and you felt great afterwards. Can you go back to that for a minute, and can you get anchor the submodality? So what you saw, just revisit what you saw, what you felt, what was the feeling in your body, the temperature of the room, or whether you was outside, the colors, the smells. Smells is a really important one. It's actually olfactory is the one that gets quickly into the brain. How is it when you smell a certain perfume or a cake or something? It takes you straight back to a moment in your life, right? Someone you knew, or maybe a grandparent who used to bake. Whatever it was, takes you right back. So bringing all this together, can we then set a hacking system? Can we then set a kind of a little cheat sheet and a direct access to better results? And we definitely 100% can. Hemingway, one of the greatest writers of all time, he actually invented the standing desk, and I talk about this in my book. And he invented that all those years back. But he had he set his environment. So you do one thing in one place. So if you want to work out, you might have a certain type of workout clothes. You might have a certain smell that you spray on yourself at the beginning of the workout, and you trigger that perfect workout. Bring it back in just before you start the workout. Whether you feel like it or not, it will trigger you wanting to perform really well. And you will perform a lot better and get better results. So, well, long story short, I think there are massive shortcuts with how we can utilize and how our brain actually functions to get even better results than we already are. There are massive shortcuts, and there's no doubt about that. I'm sure you agree with me. But what are they and how do we get there? So meditation, brain training is a really important part, because if you can take yourself into that state, that in-between state when you're sunbathing, not awake, not asleep, and then let your finger go over the page, let your eyes cross over the words, keep your vocalization out, you actually can read faster, take on more information, read more books, more information. Why would you want to do that? Well, one thing, a woman was her mum was given 30 days to live. She read 60 days to live. She read 30 books in 30 days, a book a day, and she was able to apply what she learned from the condition her mum had, all the tips, tricks, and techniques and strategies from all these books, and she was able to read so fast and take on the information and recall it and apply it that she actually kept her mum alive for another 10 years. So something like that is so powerful. That's a motivating point, right? Probably the last thing is you need motivation. You need a big motivation. So the thing I want to leave you with is think about state. It's not just change your body shape, which is the most powerful way to change your state quickly in a heartbeat, but think about your state. Can you get yourself into that in-between state, or that perfect state when you had a perfect workout, or when you're reading? Get yourself into that same position, that same room, set the environment, set your state, and then you get more of the results of you got on that perfect day. Does that make sense? Give me a quick summary of what you got out of this video. It went on for a bit longer than I thought. I like to crush them into 2 minutes, but here we go. Started rambling on and giving a load of information out. The brain's spitting some stuff out. So give me some questions if you have any. Type a quick summary of what you got out of this video for me in the comment box, and press that share button. I'd appreciate the share. And let's continue the conversation. I'll see you again tomorrow at 6 p.m. And remember, happy is a skill that you can learn, and getting yourself into the perfect state is a better way of bringing out your personal best. Let's go get some health wealth. Let's take the world with us. See you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Have an amazing rest of the day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you tomorrow.